following final orders. A, that the current office of Chief Administrative Secretary is unconstitutional. There was no such participation regarding the additional complement of 27 office holders. C, that the entire complement of 50 Chief Administrative Secretaries, which is to say all the second to the 51st interested parties, is unconstitutional. D, for the avoidance of doubt, the notification by the first respondent dated the 16th of March 2023 appointing the second to 51st interested parties to the office of Chief Administrative Secretary is hereby quashed. F, a declaration is hereby issued that the first respondent enjoys constitutional immunity from suit and was illegally joined into the proceedings. The last issue relates to costs. Costs ordinarily follow the event and are at the discretion of the court. We find that the consolidated petition raised constitutional issues in the public interest. The order that commends itself to us is that each party shall bear its own costs.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope your day has been great. This is Elijah Geshoro. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Like I said, this is the greatest YouTube in the Republic of Kenya. And the E in my name stands for exactly what you need. Now, the High Court today, under the leadership of Justice Kimondo, has declared the offices of the Cabinet Administrative Secretaries unconstitutional. This comes after the President appointed 50 Cabinet Secretaries, Cabinet Assistant Secretary, CAS, okay, and they were given the oath of office at State House, Nairobi. So it was a long judgment, but I'm here to give you the summary. You don't have to go and watch the entire 2-hour-long judgment. I'll just give you the highlights of what's important and what you need to know, and why the High Court revoked the appointment. So the High Court started by the history of the creation of the position of the CAS, and it is started in 24th January 2018 under the leadership of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, under the Constitution, the President of Kenya can create positions in the public service, but in strict conformity to the laid out guidelines. So the office was established, and these 50 CASs were appointed in 23rd March. Okay, so initially the position had only 23 posts. CAS position only had 23 posts, and actually that is an issue that has been raised by one of the judges, saying that how did we move from 23 positions to 50 cabinet secretaries? Okay, now in the laws of Kenya, they prescribe the number of office holders. For example, for the cabinet secretary position, the law provides that there can be 14, a minimum of 14 to a maximum of 22 cabinet secretaries. So we can have a situation whereby we have 100 cabinet secretaries. So the judge was raising an issue. How can 50 people or 50 CASs deputize 22 cabinet secretaries? So in case if it's a must, then they should be capped at 22 or 23 that was previously. So the addition of 27 new posts is an issue and unconstitutionality, because the judges argue that in as much as the 23 positions are okay and they went through public participation, the additional 27 have not gone through the process, and they have not been constitutionally added. Okay, so the judgment says it's important to adhere to the guiding principles by the Supreme Court. Remember, this case was first taken to court by Okia Omtata, the activist of the Republic of Kenya, who is now Busia Senator. This guy was the first person to go to court to challenge the appointment of the CASs. at the first time when President Uhuru Kenyatta, former president, appointed them. And that's where the Supreme Court gave guiding principles. So these judges are saying these guiding principles must be adhered to. And the cabinet administrative secretaries were supposed to be deputizing cabinet secretaries and not being placed in each government department. Okay.
Following final orders. A, that the current office of Chief Administrative Secretary, created by the first and fifth respondents and contained in the Kenya Gazette Special Issue number 12432, dated 12th of October 2022, and which announced the vacancies thereof, is unconstitutional. B, that whereas there was some reasonable public participation on the first complement of 23 Chief Administrative Secretaries, there was no such participation regarding the additional complement of 27 office holders. C, that the entire complement of 50 Chief Administrative Secretaries, which is to say all the second to the 51st interested parties, is unconstitutional. D, for the avoidance of doubt, the notification by the first respondent dated the 16th of March 2023, appointing the second to 51st interested parties to the office of Chief Administrative Secretary is hereby quashed. E, that the prayer that Section 26, subsection 2 of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission Act and the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Remuneration and Benefits of State and Public Officers, Regulations 2013, be declared unconstitutional is disallowed. F, a declaration is hereby issued that the first respondent enjoys constitutional immunity from suit and was illegally joined into the proceedings. G, that the petition against the first interested party, controller of budget, is hereby dismissed. The last issue relates to costs. Costs ordinarily follow the event and are at the discretion of the court. We find that the consolidated petition raised constitutional issues in the public interest. The order that commends itself to us is that each party shall bear its own costs.
Okay? Because like we have right now, the list of cabinet administrative secretaries is a list that encompasses all government departments, including office of the prime cabinet secretary, office of the deputy president, and office of the president. So we have cabinet secretaries in mutually all places in government. So maybe I can take you through some prominent names of the cabinet administrative secretaries. This is a full list of President Ruto's cronies and people who assisted him during his campaigns but lost in their individual campaigns that where they were vying. Okay, an example is former Bahati Member of Parliament, Onesimus Kimani Ngojiri. This guy lost in the Bahati parliamentary race, okay, and the president appointed him. So let us look at some of the departments, some of the individuals that have been or were selected by the president to join the public service through the CAS position. In the office of the president, a notable figure there, I don't see somebody who, I'll just mention the notable figures. For example, in the office of the prime cabinet secretary, we have Isaac Mwaura Maigua. Remember, him was vying for royal parliamentary position, but he lost it. In the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, we have the all-famous Millicent Omanga was vying for a seat in Nairobi, women rep, and lost to Esther Muthoni Pasaris. Also, Samuel Tunai, the former governor of Narok, okay, was also in that ministry, or in that that ministry, so to speak. Okay. The other notable figure you can see is Catherine Waruguru from Nyandarua. Okay, she was posted to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, where the CS is Who? Dr. Alfred Mutua. Okay. The other notable figure that we can see is Engineer Nicholas Gumbo. He was posted to the Ministry of Roads and Transport. I think that is meritable, seeing that he's an engineer. Okay. Onesimus Kimani Ngonjiri, I'm confusing with Kipchumba Murkomen, was posted to the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development. Okay. The other person we can see is in the Ministry of Information, Communications and the Digital Economy. This was Dennis Njue Itumbi. Dennis Itumbi, a famous blogger and also served in the previous regime in State House, was appointed to that position. The other person we can see that is very famous is someone like we can also remember somebody like Wilson Sossion. Okay, Wilson Sossion was posted to the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage. Okay, he was the NAT chairperson and leader who was very vocal and very vibrant and fought the government for salary increments of teachers at the time. The other notable figure is Bishop Margaret Wanjiru, the presiding bishop of Jesus is Alive Ministries, or GIAM in short. Okay? She was posted to the Ministry of Cooperatives, Micro and Small Medium Enterprises, what we call MSMEs. Okay. The other notable figure is a guy who is a musician and was a former Starehe Member of Parliament. His name is Charles Njagwa Kanyi, and he was posted to the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Arts and Sports. Okay. The other notable figure that we can see is somebody like Chris Wamalwa. Chris Wamalwa was posted to the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and also Irrigation. The other notable figure we can see in this list is somebody like those are the notable figures we can see in the list. Somebody like Evans Kidero. I forgot to mention the former Nairobi governor who fought with Mike Sonko and slapped Shebesh. Do you remember that Evans Kidero slapped Shebesh? Yeah, he was also appointed to the Cabinet Administrative Secretary position. So the judges continued to say that that each provision in the Constitution sustains another. So you can't just rely on a single provision of the Constitution. You must look at the Constitution holistically. And it is at that point that they declared the office of the CAS unconstitutional for failing to comply with the set about laws. They complained also about duplicity of roles. Okay, you find that right now the current order is that the CASs will be above the PSs. Okay, and this simply means that there is somewhat duplicity of roles. Remember, there is a PS for every department in government. Okay, PS heads a department, so every department has a person who leads it. Why then do you need a CAS to go into these departments and also lead? So there is a duplicity of roles. In any case, the PS can also be the assistant minister. Okay, so the PSC, the Public Service Commission, had abolished this office, but it was re-established under the orders of President William Ruto, who wrote to the Public Service Commission to re-establish the office of the CAS. But when it was re-established, it went from the initial number of 23 all the way to 50. Okay. The other issue here to note is that the CASs have been placed above the PSs, and they are in a higher job group and earning much more salary. Their positions are contractual and they are determined by the appointing authority, who is the President of the Republic of Kenya. So the judges were arguing that even though the President can establish these offices, there is need for the approval of the Parliament or the National Assembly. Okay, so also the people who are petitioning this case say that the cost of living will go high because you have to sustain these CASs, which is true. And that's why in the new constitution, there was a provision to tame the executive. In the past, presidents used to appoint anybody into the cabinet at their own number. It was at the discretion and prerogative of the president. But right now, as we speak, there is that capping that I told you before. And the judge mentioned and said in a statement, it was not the intention of the framers of the constitution, okay, to have 22 cabinet secretaries being deputized by 50 chief administrative secretaries, okay. So yeah, on 11th October 2022, the head of public service wrote to the PSC to declare the vacancies. So the judge also argued that the number of vacancies were not declared. So the PSC just declared the vacancies, but did not say how many. So many people applied, but only a few number of people were picked. Okay, so this is a very, very big blow to the president of Kenya, and the court issued their final orders, one of them being that the current office of the CAS is unconstitutional, and all the other CAS. The other order of the court was that the appointments of the CASs were quashed or revoked, and therefore they can't take office. The other one is that the president was illegally enjoined in the suit because he enjoys immunity against suits while he serves as president. Lastly, each party to bear its own cost. So the leader of opposition and the members of opposition had come out in large numbers to declare the unconstitutionality of the CAS positions, and the government didn't listen and continued to just implement them. But the court today has brought an end to that. So guys, let us see. Also, the members of UDA have already started to criticize the court. Samson Cherargei, the senator, has already said that it is unconstitutional. The courts have gone rogue and they have started siding with the opposition and things like that to give judgments. Guys, remember, in this country, anytime the court gives a judgment favoring one side, the other side feels offended. And that has always been the case in terms of presidential petitions. Every time the court gives an order, then the others feel that it's not what should have happened. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Continue watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting on my content. I love you so much, and we'll see you in the next one. For now, I'm out. Adios for now.